Fire Emblem arrangement albums deliver fresh new takes on fan-favorite songs from all throughout the series' rich heritage of music, and often do so by employing a large variety of styles, genres, and instruments. And somewhat surprisingly, they've been around ever since the Fire Emblem series itself was. So, let's take a look. The first ever Fire Emblem music release came in the form of Fire Emblem GSM Nintendo Free, released on May 21st of 1990. This album contains 12 arrangements of various tracks from Fire Emblem, Shadow Dragon and the Blade of Light. The arrangements here are not of one uniform style, as some tracks have a simple virtual orchestra sound while others lean more toward synthpop or even rock. The following month, on June 27, 1990, the Eastworld label released Toy Music 2 Fire Emblem, which was the label's second and last entry in their Toy Music line of video game music arrange albums. While it carries the Fire Emblem name, only 4 of the tracks are based on songs from the series, while the others are from 2 other Famicom games, namely Famicom Detective Club and Yuyuki. Fire Emblem Character Theme Collection hit store shelves 3 months later on the 21st of September 1990 and contains 8 arrangements of tracks from the first game, with a character's name given to each arrangement. The first 4 tracks have a more classical orchestral theme to them, whereas tracks 4 to 8 feature that iconic 90s synth sound and also contain elements of jazz and funk. 2 additional tracks are also included, first of which is the entirety of the game's soundtrack in its original 8-bit glory, while the second contains all the sound effects. These 3 releases came in the same year the Fire Emblem series itself debuted, but the second entry, Gaiden, would not receive any form of a soundtrack release, whether original or altered. New arranged Fire Emblem music would arrive after a 4-year break, when Fire Emblem Monshou no Nazo Sound Memoriam was released on February 18, 1994. This disc contains the entire soundtrack of the third game in the series, Mystery of the Emblem, and also includes 7 arranged versions, all of which were primarily done with real instruments. The first dedicated arrangement album in 6 years would come when Fire Emblem Seisen no Keifu game music soundtrack was released on June 24 of 1996. This album includes arrangements of all the chapter themes heard in Genealogy of the Holy War, as well as the opening and title music. Although no significant structural or musical changes were made to the songs, aside from the use of higher quality virtual instruments. When Fire Emblem Thracia 776 received its original soundtrack release on October 21, 1999, the album featured 2 new songs, Blowin' in the Wind and Wind. Blowin' in the Wind is an arrangement of one of the ending themes from the game, while Wind is an updated and extended version of a song that was previously heard in BS Fire Emblem. Ko Otani, known for his work on Mobile Suit Gundam and later on Shadow of the Colossus, created the arrangements, while Giuliana Scano provided vocals. This pair of songs, along with a karaoke version of Blown in the Wind, were also released separately as an EP on the same day as the soundtrack. The series' 5th game received a proper arrangement album not too long after, as Fire Emblem Thracia 776 Rearrange soundtrack hit store shelves on March 21, 2000. Aside from being sequenced in CD quality sounds, the 10 tracks featured here were also extended and fleshed out from their original counterparts. These 10 tracks would slowly appear to be swan songs, however, as there were 0 Fire Emblem specific arrangement or remix albums released in the following 16 years. Any new takes on the series' music came from crossovers like Super Smash Bros. Or one-offs included in regular soundtrack albums. Fire Emblem arrangements would make their triumphant return in July 2015 when orchestral versions of several songs from throughout the series were performed live at the 25th anniversary of Love and Courage Fire Emblem Festival across 2 days in late July 2015. A recording of the performance was sold in December of that year at the 89th Comic Market, and a proper commercial release followed 2 months later on February 24, 2016. Aside from the music, this album also includes recordings of additional performances from the event, including an audio drama starring voice actors who were featured in Awakening and Fates. This release would usher in the modern era of Fire Emblem arrangement albums, as the end of 2016 brought with it the first entry in what was to become the Cavalier Duo series. Jinbaittai, Sounds of Fire Emblem from Cipher Caravan, was sold exclusively at the 91st Comic Market on December 29, 2016. This disc includes arrangements done exclusively with a piano and a guitar, spearheaded by the so-called Cavalier Duo, consisting of Takeru Kanazaki and Hiroki Morishita. Kanazaki had been working on Fire Emblem soundtracks since 2013's Awakening, while Morishita had been part of the team since 2015's Fates. Also included as part of the package are 2 Fire Emblem Cipher trading cards, depicting Abel and Cain in pixel art form, playing the album's 2 instruments. Just about 3 months later, on the 22nd of February 2017, Fire Emblem Music Collection, Piano, Faith and Engagement hit store shelves. This disc contains just shy of an hour worth of piano renditions of various tracks from the series. In addition to the titular piano, some tracks here employ a violin or a flute as well. The beginning of July that year saw the release of the second entry of the Cavalier Duo series with sounds from Fire Emblem Cipher Go Go Summer Tour Kosen Tuzai, this time in the form of an EP containing just 4 tracks. A few months later, on March 28, 2018, Fire Emblem Music Collection Session Flower of Enchantment released, serving as a sequel to 2017's piano album. This time around, the arrangements were mostly done in a prog rock style, featuring electric guitars on all but one track, alongside various woodwinds, strings, and synthesizer sounds. Shippujinrai Sounds of Fire Emblem from Cipher Festival was sold at the 95th Comic Market on December 29, 2018, and served as the third entry in the Cavalier Duo series. It would end up being the last of that series, as Fire Emblem Cipher would be discontinued 2 years later after the album's release. On the 20th of March 2019, Fire Emblem Premium Arrange came out. This release is very similar in style to 2018's Flower of Enchantment and features 3 of the 4 arrangers who had worked on that album. Songs from this disc were performed live at the first and incidentally last ever Fire Emblem Expo on May 4, 2019, alongside a Telias-themed vocal drama play and a surprise performance of The Edge of Dawn from Fire Emblem Three Houses. This album's sequel, Premium Arrange 2, came the next year on February 19th and once again included songs that were to be performed at that year's Fire Emblem Expo 2, set to take place on May 5th and 6th of 2020. However, the event would go on to be cancelled due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and as such the Premium Arrange 2 tracks as well as any other audio material slated for the expo was never performed live. The Fire Emblem Music Collection line of arrangement albums has not received a new entry since 2018's Flower of Enchantment, and no Fire Emblem Expo event has ever been planned since 2020 was cancelled, which meant that the Premium Arrange series has been absent as well. Finally, with the Fire Emblem Cipher brand of trading cards and related merchandise being discontinued in late 2020, the Cavalier Duo series is also unlikely to make a return. As of 2024, Premium Arrange 2 remains as the last Fire Emblem Arrange album, with no new releases on the horizon. New takes on fan-favorite tracks from the series can still be heard in 2023's Fire Emblem Engage, as the paralogue themes of the various recurring characters are remixes of music from their debut games. When it comes to dedicated arrangement albums, however, we'll have to wait.